Hello and welcome back. And if you are new here, my name is David Mac Thomas. I'm a session guitarist based out of the UK, and we got a second Helix. More specifically, the Stadium Floor and Stadium Floor XL are coming this fall and winter. There's going to be a lot of videos about this unit. I'm going to go over the main things fairly quickly, but I do want to touch upon a thing that's getting massively overlooked, and I think it's just going to be a massive game changer for lots of people. A lot of people are brushing over it, so we may as well just get started. Number one, the hype control. Okay, so the idea of the hype control is it just gives you a further parameter on the amp that you're using. So it just potentially might give it more bottom end, it might give it some more high end if they feel they need it. I believe the hype control actually works different compared to what model you're using. A lot of Fenders have a lot of mid-range missing. That's like a common thing. The hype knob, if you turn it up, it might just bring some of that mid-range back in naturally, although it won't be historically accurate. It's doing something, so that's cool. Okay, so I believe there's an 8-inch touchscreen, and the scribble scripts are actually OLED, but that's only on the XL model. Touchscreen is cool. I mean, some people can live without it. Some can, happily use it. There's a couple of things that I think would be very, very interesting. I'll get into that in a second as to why the touch sensitive thing would be good. Sometimes I feel like, if you're just doing the same thing to get the same end product, it doesn't even matter if you're touching it or if you're using a knob. It just doesn't matter. So now you can do multiple split paths, so you can do two I assume potentially even more, but you can split multiple paths now on each line. So that's very interesting. That's going to give a whole new level of creating sounds. Obviously there's an increase in DSP power, so obviously more blocks that you can have, more amp blocks. It's going to be very, very, very powerful, and something that will obviously benefit from that is the extra instrument input. So if you run a bass and a guitar through it, or you could run two guitars. Personally for me, it would have been helpful for a gig I've done recently where I was running an electric through my amp and an acoustic through the DI out. I was able to do it on my usual on my usual Helix floor, but I had to pull out the jack and put it into my acoustic, etc. So if it was just set up for a patch change, that'd be great. That's very much a nice problem to have, but it's just something that I would personally enjoy. Okay, so proxy, and in Line 6 words themselves, it's an amp cabin effect cloud-based cloning engine, which sounds mental. I couldn't ever imagine Line 6 doing another Helix and not having some sort of cloning feature because of all the other sort of big dogs that are doing it. Quad Cortex, Tone X, and people like that. They did say a lot of this stuff won't be rolled out on day one, but like with Helix Floor, when it first came out, it had pretty much nothing, and they had no sort of promise of it kind of getting better. It was at the start, it was just great. It was definitely usable. It was class with all the stomps and stuff. No snapshots, but obviously this is coming with some ideas of what it's going to be able to do. So hopefully it'll just be, skyrocket from there. There's new help sections. So every time you go onto a new parameter, it'll actually show you what it does, what the characteristics do for each effect, which is extremely useful. I'm very much stick to what I know, and I like to just crack on with the sounds that I like. This will help me come out of my comfort zone, especially new players that don't really understand what maybe gain does or certain EQs do or whatever. You can get a better understanding to make a better sound. This is the interesting thing that I think will come massively handy in every situation. Live, in the studio, just for a bedroom player, is the new focus view. And it's like a little icon on the left that you touch, and then in each side of the corner and in the center, there's 5 different focus modes that you can drag the circle towards. So like one corner might say solo, or one would be like clean, and that's for each effect and amp. So you can pull it towards, and even for me, that's like really, really inspiring to be able to just get a sound and not have to mess with different knobs. The great thing about it is like when you move that circle and you move it to say have a reverb be more shimmery, for instance. The parameters change real time below, so you can actually see what they're doing. So not only can you learn how you're getting that sound, but you can also tweak that sound and make it your own. And that is massively game changing. I mean, live, probably less so, because you usually have your presets sorted beforehand, but like in the studio, like if I was ever working with an artist or something, I could just pull up an amp that I know is great, and then I just pull up a reverb and like, maybe it just needs more, whatever, and like you're just spending a lot less time faffing around and just actually creating, which is like what technology should be going towards. So yeah, there's new EQs. Like the idea of like touch EQ is insane. Obviously doing live sound engineering and stuff, doing that live is just like amazing. But like the fact that Helix have shelves and touch sensitive EQs, that's just, there's no notes for presets, so you can include, if I was to make a preset, I could include notes just to let you know that, you know, it was recorded in it was primarily made with a telly or a Strat or whatever. Any interesting things that may come with a preset that you might not know. Like a lot of my presets, for instance, when I play with an Everly Brothers tribute band, I have a rotary simulator which is on latch mode, so it only goes off when I or is it momentary? One of them. But when I press it down, that's when the rotary happens, and then I pull it off. So unless you know about those things already, it's kind of hard to come by. There's a new search feature on there, so you can just type in apparently the real thing, and even the amp will come up. Or you know, if you type in Tube Screamer, apparently the model version will come up. So that's really helpful for people that are coming from an analog world into obviously the digital realm. So that's really helpful. There's reference audio now with every preset apparently. Don't know how this is going to work for like the cloud and things like that, but you can download a preset and it'll have a reference audio, so it can show you what it's meant to be used. So it's got context, so you're not just, you know, downloading a metal patch and then you're playing an open chord and you're like, ugh, sounds strange. There's actually context behind it, so that's, again, fantastic. There's a new matrix mixer, which means you can send your signal to different places and you can essentially control that through the matrix mixer. You can kind of do this in the Helix floor. Like I said, I usually run an acoustic DI on my telly to my amp, and you can kind of do it that way, but this gives you a whole new level of control essentially. So for instance, you could send all your signal chain and path, etc., to your amp. Then you could maybe put a cab block on a different signal path that just goes to front of house, and you could do that now in Helix, but this gives you the opportunity to like pan them maybe, and even like control the signals as they go out. So you could obviously run stereo to them. Obviously front of house have control of that, but if you want control, you can do it from the Helix now. There's a new Helix backpack to accommodate obviously the new product, so that's exciting. Okay, so here are some things that I've really taken from it. One, which seems silly, is the stopwatch. Like there's an integrated stopwatch, which is class. Like for things like acoustic gigs or even gigs that I'm on, and like sometimes we just want to time it to see how we're doing for time. Like that's just so helpful to have just on tap. I know you can use your phone, but like it's just there. Why not? Sorry, I forgot to mention before I get into this one, there's the Agora modeling, which is supposed to be the next best thing in modeling. Like apparently the touch response, everything is supposed to be better. So the technology for the amps, I think it's coming with 16 with the Agora modeling. But obviously they'll more than likely be added into that. So we'll hear how they sound. We haven't got any real clips yet, so. And the big one for me is the Showcase automation and playback engine. Like this is mind blowing. So I think the idea is through the SD card slot at the back, you have scope to play tracks from, backing tracks. Cool. So I'm a guitarist, it's also an MD. So for me, that would be cool if I could start tracks and stop tracks from my Helix. Cool. You could do that on Helix now through MIDI, but like I can't bother for all that. If I could just do it for my feet, fantastic. What's even better is that you can actually automate your patch changes with your backing tracks. So if I load a backing track into my Helix, we're playing the track, I can automate things like patch changes for myself. I can automate lighting changes. Apparently it'll be able to do like video cues and things like that. So like the scope for that is absolutely insane. And what we've got to remember is this is obviously what they're showing us now. When I had the Helix when it first came out, it was just like, it was nothing like it was today. And 10 years on, they've given us free updates after free updates. It's got exponentially better, and like the money that you pay for it at the start is absolutely just like, it's just not even a thing. It's just like paid for itself 10 times over, in my opinion, for me anyway. So God knows what this is going to be like. It's not just another product. They've had 10 years of Helix, and now this is the next thing. They've bided their time. They've looked at the market. It's just perfect timing because everyone's come in with the modeling and the capture, and now they've probably taken stock and just gone, let's make this super machine. And I'm really excited to see where this is going to go. But yeah, what was your favorite part of the announcement? If you can just obviously leave a comment, that'd be fantastic. Love to discuss it. But for now, please take care and all the best. Look after yourselves.